Nick here, VCS Customs. Today we're having a look at a 128 scale drifter from WLtoys. We picked this up off Banggood because we've seen a lot of people picking these up on the 3D printing pages and doing a lot of crazy stuff with them. So we decided to see, what the interest is in them. So straight up, it looks great for a car at this price point. Alloy chassis, upper deck. The rest of it is plastic, but it's not really a big issue. You got to expect that for this price point. It's got bearings throughout the whole car, which is nice to see that it's not just bushings. This model that we picked up was I think it was a K989 or 9669, I believe it was, which is the drift version, which comes with this lovely Porsche looking body here. It'd be nice if they had just included just clear bodies so people can sort of customize them, because all of them come with the same body. The off-road version comes with like a Fiesta looking body with rubber tyres, but we obviously wanted the drift version. Now these are 4-wheel drive, small drive shaft running right through the centre of these, all-in-one receiver ESC unit. But what is nice to see that it actually runs a standard micro server with a standard plug, so you can actually upgrade these if you wanted to, which is really nice to see. In terms of Lipo, we've got a little 2S Lipo here. Take it out of the thing, nice and easy to remove. 4000 milliamp Lipo, which will get you quite good runtime, especially from something that's only brushed. Now we'll move on to the controller here. Now, a few of you might recognise that this is a bit of a clone of a Spectrum controller, but overall it's actually a nice feeling controller. It's got a nice feeling steering on it, whereas some of them feel real light. It's got a nice springy response. You got your steering trim, left, right, and then your trim for your forward back, which is good to see. Obviously there's no endpoint adjustments on this, but apparently there are another model that you can pick up which bind to these, which are about $30, which will give you all the adjustments that a normal controller would have. But for what you get, this controller is sort of beyond what I'd expect. I'd expect something that sort of had very poor feeling steering and wasn't very responsive. Now you also do get a few spare gears, which is nice to see that you actually do get something with it. In a lot of cars you don't get any gears at all. Obviously I think this is a full gear set for the car, I'm not 100% sure. With our particular model we got a USB charger for the battery, but I've noticed that some of the other models come in with a mostly Chinese plug that plug into the wall, so I'm not sure if this is just this particular one from Banggood that comes with this USB charger, if there are other models, but like I said, most of them I've seen have come with a plug. And then you also get a very detailed instruction guide. Gives you all the information about motor size, what to do with issues, how to drive it, how the whole car assembles. Absolutely everything you can think of. Now, like I said, I've seen a lot of people 3D printing these, doing upgrades for them. Pretty much every single part on this car you can get a 3D printed replacement for. So if you don't want to wait for parts, you could find a local guy to print the parts for you. Now, I've seen the upper arms, I've seen the mono shocks in the front, seen the full big lock steering for a rear-wheel drive setup. You can do whatever you want. You can also print your own rims, tyres. Aftermarket parts for these are readily available. I think you can pick up a whole alloy set for around $30 or something. It's crazy cheap. And upper and lower deck and carbon, I think they're about $15 or something. So if you really wanted to pimp this out, you can for not a lot of money. Now we've actually picked these up for a project that we're working on for some cheap oval racing here in Australia. We've been working on some bodies here. This is the first test one off the machine. Obviously they'll be printed in clear. This is just off a 3D printed mould and pulled straight over. In New Zealand, Australia, these are like a super saloon. In America, you might know them more as a late model. There are differences in them, but this has been based off a New Zealand spec super saloon. We've also had a play around and we've printed some rims. These are just been 3D printed and then hit with a chrome pen. A couple of different styles we've done. We got a plan on doing a full run of these as well, and selling these cars ready to run and hopefully get some sort of cheap affordable racing going. So let's get this car on the ground and see what it's like to drive. Alright, so my final thoughts on this is, it's a cool little car. I did notice that it's quite stiff. You wouldn't notice in the video, as soon as you left the power, pretty much the wheels stop rotating. I should probably turn this off as well. But I could see if you had a proper track setup, obviously I don't have anything set up in the lounge, my wife would kill me, that you could have a lot of fun with these. Now there are quite a few different bodies you can pick up for these. Obviously you can fit a lot of 128 scale model bodies. There's a lot of guys using metal bodies on these. There's a huge range of bodies you can get for these sort of, if you're willing to do a little bit of DIY work. Otherwise there are companies that sell a lot of cool bodies. Like the Ford CLE cab that I've got on my rear-wheel drive drifter at this scale. We're like I said earlier in the video, we're looking at starting to make some of our own bodies, but they're going to be sort of a little bit more specialised than your run-of-the-mill drift bodies. So if you guys want to pick one of these up, I believe they're actually on sale at the moment on Banggood. I think they're around 75 to 80 Australian dollars ready to run, shipped to your door, so they are well worth the money. If you want something just to play around in the shed, you know, something for your kid even. It's a perfect intro car that's got all the functional qualities that you'd expect from a 10 scale car with a full proportional steering and throttle control for not a lot of money, and the spares are dirt cheap as well. So until the next video, have a good one.